G'day everyone, Buck up in a rainy old far north Queensland with my trusty mate Rafa, my best mate. Hey mate, got out of the house, said Colin Raff, let's go and do a clip somewhere. So we've driven out on a rainy old afternoon outside Innisfail, north of Innisfail, to a place called Warraka Creek or Warraka Creek. I think it's Warraka Creek. Little picnic area out here. Have never been out here when it hasn't been boggy and hasn't been raining. Grass is overgrown. It's a nice little area. I'll give you a little bit look later. Warraka Creek down here used to be a popular little swimming hole when I first got to Innisfail. It's very muddy at the moment. It's been flooding, guys, so normally this is nice and clear, this creek, and you can see in there. Guess what? Driving down now, big yellow Achtung signs with snapping logs on there. There's crocs in there apparently, so yet another water hole they've got into where you used to be able to take your dogs for a swim and have a swim yourself. There used to be a rope swing down there. Don't see anyone swimming down there anymore. Someone spotted a croc. So anyway, hey listen, today I thought I'd come out, have a pasito. It's too early for a beer yet, and it's only Thursday. Speaking of which, remember the old days? That used to be called Passiona. When I was a kid, it was called Passiona, passion fruit drinks. Nice soft drink. Anyway, trivia question for you. Who remembers this saying from a famous Australian movie? And he's there and he goes, geez, I could go a Passiona. Put it in the comments section. What movie's that out of? I'll give you a hint. It was filmed at Canungra at the Jungle Warfare Training Centre at Canungra in South Queensland. That movie, if you didn't know, it's a classic and some great actors in it. Put it down in the comments. Geez, I could go a Passiona. I saw them in the fridge and I thought, geez, I could go a Passiona, and I'll grab one. I'm off to a good start, aren't I? Jibber-jabbering already. Hey, was going to do a clip on recovery. Now, it's such a broad subject, I'm going to cut them down. Going to cut it down because this one will go long enough as it is. Who's got a winch on their four-wheel drive? I have. Used it in anger a couple of times. Once to get me out of a hairy situation where I was bloody doing one of those ones. That was years ago now, and it got me out of trouble. And another one was to clear trees and whatever that had fallen down after a cyclone on a road. So I've used it in anger a couple of times. Do I need a winch? Do you need a winch? Well, it depends on what you're doing, doesn't it? That's the bloody how long's a piece of string. It depends on what activities you conduct in your four-wheel drive as to whether you need a winch or not. Looking back now, do I need a winch? Not really. My days of doing hardcore four-wheel driving are over, guys. I haven't got the money to go buying a new four-wheel drive. I don't like banging that up rocks and all that type of stuff. And do I need it? No. Do you need a winch? Possibly no. But I tell you what, that one situation you get yourself into where you do need it, you'll be glad you've got a winch on your vehicle. Let me tell you. You all know about it. A lot of you will probably say, Buck, never had a winch, never needed one. And that's a fair go. A lot of people don't need a winch. But if you go out four-wheel driving by yourself, or you go out camping and you go out exploring by yourself and you go down tracks that you don't know and you're running solo with just one vehicle, then it's a good idea to have a winch on your vehicle. Who knows when you're going to come across a track and there's a tree across there and it's too big to move and you may need a winch. You can move it by a winch. You're doing a three-way pull. So they do come in handy. A lot of people run a winch on their four-wheel drive. Back in my army days, I'll harp back to that again, well, not all of them, a lot of our vehicles had winches on there and we always ran steel cable. A lot of the winches these days have Dyneema rope or synthetic rope, which has got a lot of advantages over steel cable. All our army winches were steel and we always had to use gloves. And you'll see people, when you're winching, you must wear gloves. That's a bit of a take back to the old days when a lot of our winches were steel. And let me tell you, you had to have gloves on because if you got one of those steel threads in your hand, you knew all about it. So we always wore gloves in the army when we were dealing with steel winches. And you get any doggers doggers that work with cranes and all that, they all still use steel. You'll always see the doggers with gloves on, good gloves. These probably aren't the best one, but I've got synthetic rope on. Now, my winch on my vehicle, that bloody fizzy shit, the winch on my vehicle is a Rafa Canera doggy over the creek at the farm behind us. I've got a filthy old Adventure Kings Dominator X winch on the BT50. And I was thinking about it last night when I was thinking about what I was going to say in this clip. That has got to be close to 10 years old. And guess what? I think it still works. Last time I used it, it was still working. Okay? And that's the whole idea about this clip. If you've got a winch on your four-wheel drive, when's the last time you tested it, guys? When's the last time you used it? Probably a long time ago. But when's the last time you tested it to make sure it still works, so that when you do need to use it in anger, you know it works? I bang on all the time about running everything up monthly, my generator and all that type of stuff. Well, guess what? You have all good intentions of doing that, and before you know it, a month has come up, 2 months has gone by, 3 months has gone by, and you go, haven't run me winch. And I probably haven't run my winch for 3 months, to be honest. So I've come out to do this clip, to test it out, and to do a clip on it and talk about just winching in general, okay? As I said, Dominator X, it must be getting close to 10 years old. Now, we all knock King's gear. Okay, it's not the best winch on the market. We all know that. It's a budget winch. But I tell you what, for something that's nearly 10 years old and it's still going, you can't knock it. I can't remember how much it cost me. The Dominator X are $299 on King's at the moment. There's a new one, Dominator Extreme or whatever, which is about the 500 mark. But the one I've got on there, you can still get that for $299 from Adventure Kings, guys. It's lasted me nearly 10 years. Got to be happy with that, haven't you? You know, credit where credit's due. If it lasted me 3 months, I'd be pissed off. It's lasted me nearly 10 years. Sure, I haven't used it much, but it's still going. It's still on there. And I know if I do come across a situation where someone's gone off the side of the road and we can't push them back up, maybe I can use my winch to help someone get back on the road or whatever. There's 1,000 different times where you think outside the box where you could possibly use your winch. If you're out on a farm, pulling tree stumps out, moving trees off roads, getting yourself out of a bog, all that type of stuff. I'm going to talk in other clips about other recovery stuff, max tracks, snatch strapping and all that. I'll do that in another clip, guys. So this one's mainly about just talking about my winch and some of the stuff I use in connection or in conjunction with the winch. A few flies around, and then we're going to run it up. I'm going to run it up this hill here and just make sure it works. I'll hook it up, show you how I'll hook it up. So some of the things I carry in the BT, in the once again, the old Titan drawers, which have been in there for maybe 7 years at least, and they're still doing the job for me. Put some new handles on there the other day, still doing the job. And one side of my drawers is usually recovery gear and machete and all that type of stuff, and the other side of the drawers I have all my cooking gear and coffee and all that type. So kitchen gear and then recovery gear on the other side, okay? So I know it's always in there, guys. Sometimes you don't have to, you know, if you're going away on a trip, if you're just doing day-to-day driving, you probably don't need to have as much stuff in your drawer system. But this is what I normally carry in my drawer system, just in case I ever need my winch. May not be for me, it may to help someone else out. I've come across a lot of people that have been bogged on the side of the road and all that, and a lot of the time you can just help push them out. A couple of Japanese backpackers one day bogged on the side of the road at a lookout, and all it took was me and one of the other backpackers to get out pushing and the other one driving. We got him out of the bog, so which is good. Keep an eye out for kangaroos, Rafa, see if there's any around. So the 12,000 pound, don't know what that is in kilograms, divide it by 2.2, that'll be your kilograms. So it's a 12,000 pound Dominator X King's winch. And as I said, nearly 10 years old, probably close to 10 years old, still going. You know, credit where credit's due, as I said. Some of the other things I carry in conjunction with the winch, guys. You'll see when I go over there, I run a soft shackle rather than a hook on the end of my winch. I'm trying to get rid of all metal out of my recoveries, and I'll talk more about that in my clips. The winch comes with a metal hook. Well, guess what? I took that off and I replaced it with a soft shackle. Okay, and I'm going to blow a bit of wind up my ass here. On my old channel, guys, I did a clip many years ago on this item here called Gator Jaw. They're an American-made soft shackle. When I did that, there were very few companies in this country that were running soft shackles. They were around, but it hadn't even taken off yet. And I got onto a mob called Bubba Rope in America because I saw these on an American YouTube channel, and I thought, geez, anyway, I got onto them, and bugger me, they sent me a couple over. They also sent me a kinetic energy recovery rope, which me and Phil managed to snap when I was trying to pull his patrol off the beach, do a snatch recovery. We snapped that rope. But these Gator Jaws are still going strong. I've got about 3 of them here. These are looking old. They've lost their colour, but they're still functional and they still work. If you're wondering what these sheaths are, they actually come from Drifter, guys. They're just a bit of boot line or whatever. And as you know, soft shackles got a lot of advantages. I'll talk more about this in my upcoming clip. Their weakness, sharp edges, okay? And this here just gives them a little bit of protection so that if any sharp edges rub on it, it's the sheath on the outside is going to take a bit of the thing over so you don't cut into your soft shackle. These things got so many advantages. We'll talk about that in future clips. I was one of the first ones that I saw in Australia that started talking about soft shackles, guys, and I'm not pissing in your pocket now. Before Iron Man and all these people had soft shackles, I'd done a one on the Bubba Rope, on the Gator Jaws made by Bubba Rope, an American company. Before all these other companies in Australia now all got their soft shackles. They're fantastic. Yeah, I was one of the first ones to really start plugging these in Australia from one of them. I wasn't the first by any means. Here's someone going past now. They're probably going, what's that bloke doing? Talking to his camera. It's just a car, mate. So, I'll crack on. One of the most important things you need, as I said, I've got a soft shackle on the end of my winch. You will see that when I actually run the winch up in a minute. Okay. These things here are called a tree trunk protector. These, I recommend to have a couple of them, guys. A couple of them in case you've got to do a 3-way pull. Great for wrapping around logs on the side of the road. Wish I still had my old one. When I broke my axe and lost my axe head, I was clearing a road up in the rainforest up on the Palmerston Highway and skull dragging a lot of trees off the 4-wheel drive track. And what you do is wrap these around. Now, these things here, all the straps, and I'll talk about it later, all your straps, no matter what kind of strap it is, it must have a tag on it and it must tell you what the rating of it is. And these tree trunk protectors, you will see, have got a lot more braking strain than the other types of winch extension straps and all that. And the reason for that is when you do a double line or a triple line pull, anything forward of your snatch block and that, okay, it might halve the load on your winch rope, but it doubles the load on your tree trunk protector, and that's why you'll find tree trunk protectors are a thing. This is a 12,000 kilogram braking strain. Times that by 2.2, 24, so 2,500 pounds, 25,000 pounds, sorry. So 3 metre length, nice big thick one. You wrap it around the base of a tree or whatever, and that's what you hook your winch up to. I recommend to have a couple of these. They're only 3 metres. They're a lot thicker than your other ones and a lot bigger braking strain. Have a couple of them in case you've got to do a 3-way pull. Okay, they got the loops in the end there for putting your soft shackle through. I'm not going to do a 3-way pull today, so a couple of tree trunk protectors. 1 as a minimum, two's even better. Now, you've got about 20 odd metres of Dyneema rope on your winch, guys. You can guarantee if that winch rope's 20 metres long, the tree will be 21 metres away. Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law. So what we need then, in conjunction with your winch, is what they call a winch extension strap, and that's this one here. It's a Hercules brand, once again from Kings. I've used it a few times. It does the trick. Once again, all tagged up. They've got to be tagged. 5,000 kilogram braking strain, which is times that by 2.2. what's that, about 12,000 pounds. So it's roughly the same braking strain as the Dyneema rope on a single line pull of the Dyneema rope on the thing. So it's got the same braking strain there. So another 20 metres there. So it gives you double the distance. So if your winch doesn't reach the tree, you can get a winch extension strap to get you out of trouble. You can use 2 of them if you want to. You can carry a couple of these. I've got a couple. I only carry one normally. Best way to join that, your winch extension strap to your winch, is I do it via a soft shackle once again, trying to eliminate everything metal out of my recovery where I can. Winch extension strap, make sure you get one of them. All the companies now have got them, guys. Ridge Rider at super cheap, Adventure Kings, Iron Man, all those companies have got them, okay? I've got 3 soft shackles here. I wouldn't mind a couple more actually, but they are fantastic, guys. Talk more about them later. Easy to use and a lot safer. A lot safer than your traditional bow shackles, okay? Your bow shackles, once again, if you do use them, that's fine, but make sure it's got the rating on there. They must be rated, and this is 4.7 something tons. I think 4.7. Geez, that's hard to read. I think it's 4.7. Don't quote me on that. It'll be on there. 4 tons, I think. Something like that anyway. I try and not use them where I can. The less chance of having metal flying through there, the better. I saw a video once of one of these things that went through a windscreen and took the whole side of his head off. It was the most graphic thing I've ever seen. That's why, after I saw that, that's what made me look into using soft shackles. They're a lot lighter, they're a lot safer. A lot of pros of these over the metal ones. There's a couple of cons as well. They don't like being in naked flame and they don't like sharp edges, okay? But you'll find anyone who's dogging and using cranes and that, they'll always still use steel bow shackles and steel cable. But for recovery, Dyneema is the way to go, I think. Once again, put a comment down, guys. Do you still use steel in your recovery, or have you converted over to soft shackles? As I said, we'll talk more about that later. Now listen, sometimes you might need to do a 2-way pull or a 3-way pull or whatever. If you're on a real steep hill and you want to take the pressure off your winch, you may need to do a double up, okay, or a 2-way pull. What that does is halve the load on your winch, okay? When it's right under strain, you don't want to be snapping your winch rope. So what you might want to do is do a double up, and it halves the load on your winch. But as I said, it doubles the load on your tree trunk protector. That's why they have to be a lot more braking strain than your other straps. The traditional way was to run your winch cable down through a snatch block, Hercules snatch block. These things are heavy, and I didn't realise there's a grease nipple there. I just threw a bit of grease in there before I left the shed. I've never used this, guys. They are heavy, but that's what you do. Put your winch rope through there, and then you steel shackle, okay, and then you can do a double up pull, a 2-way pull or a 3-way pull. You know, if you need to do a 45-degree pull to pull a tree off the thing, you may need one of these things. But what I've gone and done is Red Winches, which I think is a British company. I think I bought that off Drifter many years ago. The Red Winches, it's just basically just a snatch wheel, and you put a soft shackle through there. Your winch rope goes around there, and you can do a double line pull with that. Now, Simon from Lock Your Hubs 4-wheel driving has done some testing on that, and it does create a lot more friction than a traditional snatch block, okay? But for what I do, guys, that's a lot lighter, a lot smaller, and it does the job. I've done some 3-way pulls and that, where that pulling those trees off, and it did a really good job. It did a really good job. All the edges are rounded off on the inside, so you can use a soft shackle. They're designed for use with a soft shackle, and I like them. I know they create a lot more heat and friction, okay, over a traditional snatch block. If you're doing some really heavy duty stuff, maybe the snatch block's the way to go. Once again, down in the comments, let me know. Do you use a snatch block, or do you use a one of these ones? This is Red Winches is the brand of it, and I'm pretty sure it's a Pommy made thing. Should say where it's made here. I'm pretty sure they're made in England. the red winches. So there you go, there's some things. Oh, and a dampener blanket. The dampener blankets, guys, you see a lot of people don't use them now because we're gone to Dyneema rope. I'll still throw it over because if I don't, people will go, you didn't have a dampener blanket on there, Buck. These were mainly so you could fill the inside pockets up with some sand or whatever, so that if your winch cable snapped, it would send it to the ground and keep it low so it didn't come up through your windscreen. If you want to see some clips on how dangerous winching and recovery can be, Ronnie Dahl, guys, has done some extensive testing, and I tell you what, it's frightening. He sets dummies and everything up, and you see what one of these can do to a dummy when a snatch strap breaks and that. It's frightening. Ronnie's got some really good stuff on his channel about this. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about my winch, the old Dominator X, 12,000 pound. She's still going. Well, I think it is. I'm about to find out because I'm going to hook it up in a minute. That dog must know Rafa's over here, and he's barking. So that's basically what I carry for my winch. You don't need a lot of extra stuff. Winch extension strap, couple of tree trunk protectors. Obviously we need the winch controller here, which is via cable. It used to be Wi-Fi, but somehow I managed to trap the little Wi-Fi thing that plugs into the winch controller over there. I must have dropped it on the concrete. It broke anyway, and it doesn't work. I don't know if you can get them anymore, so I just use the cable, plug that in. You'll see how I do that. Another thing, when you run your winch, I've always been told that your winch should run off your cranking battery, not the battery you run your fridge and everything off, guys. Run it off your cranking battery because it's got higher amperage there, and that's what you need. Short, sharp stuff. You'll see that when I run the winch out, I will pull the winch out, I'll undo the clutch, and I'll pull it out by hand so that I'm not running the engine. The winch is very heavy on power and it can drain your battery. When you run your winch, always make sure your engine is running or you will flatten your starter battery, guys. There's a big tip for you. Always run your engine when you are winching, okay? And after you finish winching, you make sure you keep doing some driving and charge that battery right up. I think I've said everything I need to do. What I'm going to do now, go and have a quick look around, and then I'm going to get the BT over there, and I'm going to hook it up to probably one of these steel poles, show you the hookup procedure, and just do a single line pull. I'm not going to try and drive up there. I'm just going to keep it in neutral and let the winch pull the weight of the BT50 up this little hill here, just so I know it still works okay. So, message here, if you've got a winch on your car, how long's it been since you've tested it? Get it out once a month, once every 2 months at the most, guys. Hook it up to a tree somewhere and make sure she works okay, because you never know when you might need it next. Righto, we'll get into it, eh? Rafa said, I think that dog knows I'm over here. He has not shut up. I'm going to hook it up. Got the car down here. I've got a nice little hill here. So I'm going to winch it up, make sure the winch can pull me up there. I'm not going to try and drive it. I'm just going to keep it in neutral and let the winch do all the work to make sure the winch is working. Just going to use one of these steel poles that's dyno bolted into the concrete slab, guys, as an anchor point. Normally you'd use a tree or something like that. So what I'm going to do is go down, hook the winch controller up and get the cable. So the first thing I want to do is you pick the point that you're going to anchor to, and I'll just move the camera. Righto, so I'm going to anchor off this nice big steel pole, and it's dyno bolted in there. That dog is pissing me off. Rafa, tell him to shut up, mate, please. So we get our tree trunk protector, we wrap him around, make sure he's level there. So we pick our tree that we're going to winch off, set our tree trunk protector up there so we don't damage the tree, and then we're going to go down, and what we've got to do then is run the winch up to here. So I'll do that now. So the good bit about recovery is it's normally muddy or something like that, isn't it? You're always going to get dirty during a recovery, so don't ever think you're going to get out during a recovery and get back in the vehicle with clean boots and whatever. As you can see, she's pretty boggy here. I'm churning it up a bit, but that's what happens here. Every time someone drives out here, it gets churned up. So I could start the vehicle now and put my winch controller in, but I'm just going to do it manually and get that up there. So I'll just leave that there for now, my winch controller. Forget where I got this. Flip up number plate like that. Now, there's a clutch in here. I've got to take the clutch off and put it in free spool. Remind me, everyone, when I start winching, to take it out of free spool. If you're trying to winch and the winch isn't going in, you've forgotten to take it out of free spool. I do it every time without fail. So, I should be able to get a grip of this now, somehow, and start pulling that out by hand. It's not easy, you've got to work for it. Give myself enough room there, and get my soft shackle off. So my soft shackle, it just goes through my snatch, my recovery point on the front. So what I've got to do now is basically work hard. And I'll tell you now, you know when you've had COVID and you're trying to do hard work, still short of breath from the COVID. That dog's going ape shit, isn't he? I bet it's a blue heeler. Right, so you get the message. I'm going to drag this all the way up there and I'll show you how I'll hook it up to the tree trunk protector. This is the hard bit. Yeah, I could start the vehicle and take the clutch off and put it in reverse and do it that way. You're draining a lot of power out of the starter battery. I prefer to do it the hard way and work for it. Righto, I'll see you up the top. That is hard work running that out. So what we want to do now is with our tree trunk protector, we want to run our soft shackle through the loops. Give us a bit of room there. Put the knot through and tighten it. Righto. And there we go there. That's not going anywhere. Have a look at that, guys. No metal. No metal whatsoever. That's what I like about this. Normally there's a winch hook on there. Okay, I got rid of that and I put a soft shackle on there. Another gator jaw. So she's ready to go. All I've got to do now, throw my dampener on there. I'm not going to throw any sand and that in there, guys. I think that was mainly for steel cables. Don't quote me on that, but get into the habit. Still use your dampener. If you don't, I'm sure people on YouTube will be up me if I don't. People will go, should be using gloves, Buck. Why? There's no splinters and that in this. There's no splinters. Gloves were mainly for wire ropes. You'd definitely be wearing gloves there. While your winch rope's out, guys, when you're testing it monthly, every couple of months, just have a look. As I walk down, I'll make sure there's no nicks and cuts in there. If there's a bad nick or a cut in there, you may need to replace your Dyneema rope. This is about 9.5, 10 mil Dyneema, I think. Don't quote me on that. About 9.5 mil. Some of them are 8.5 mil. You probably think it's not real thick. You get a piece of braid, fishing braid, and see how thin that is, and then see how strong it is. Well, that's a similar thing. It's like a big fishing braid. It's super strong. Keep it away from sharp edges and bloody naked flames, and your Dyneema rope should last you a fair while. As I said, this has been on here between 8 and 10 years, and that's the original rope. Haven't used it a lot, I must admit. If it does get dirty in the mud like this is, I'll pull it out when I get home over Easter and give it a good rinse out with a hose. Let it dry out. And the other thing too, try and keep it out of the sun, guys. Sun will deteriorate this, so try and keep your vehicle or your winch end, don't have it sitting in the sun all the time, because the sun can deteriorate your Dyneema rope, I'm pretty sure. Okay, righto. Stop gibbering, Buck, let's get into it. Before I forget, if you're doing a recovery and there's people, and I'll tell you a bad place for it, Fraser Island. Someone will be doing a recovery and you got all the peanuts want to stand in close with their beers, providing commentary. Get everyone out of the way. The rule in the army, 1.5 times the length of the winch rope, because if those steel cables snap, they can kill someone. I still wouldn't want to get hit by a Dyneema rope when it flings back and hits you. It'd be like getting hit by a stock whip. Take your eye out. Get people right away. Doesn't matter what kind of recovery it is, especially a snatch strap recovery or a winch recovery. If you're in charge of the recovery, get everyone right back. So get back, fellas. I'm running this, get right back. I don't want anyone hurt if the winch things. When you're doing a recovery, one boss, one chief, that's it. You don't want 3 people call on the shots. One person calls the shots doing a recovery. Flashbacks to my old army days, guys. Righto. Another thing I regularly do is put a bit of WD-40 in the connectors here, okay? That's come off, but the connector's still on. I always spray a bit of WD-40 in. Get my winch. I must admit the Wi-Fi controller was a lot easier than the cable. So you now have the cable, line your arrow up, and I nearly forgot. I'll take the clutch back off. So if I didn't do that, the winch won't go in because it was on free spool. So now I'll untangle my cable, which is like my fishing line. If I can tangle something up, I will. Light comes on there saying wired, and there's another one there saying wireless. My wireless thing's broken now. That was my fault. I think I bloody stood on it or something. So that's up. Make sure your number plate's up out of the way so you're not going to cut your cable. I'll run this over and then we'll start up and we'll start winching. I'll try and avoid this mud. Righto. Come on, Raph, let's get in, mate. So I'm ready to go. Got everyone out of the way. Raph is in the car. Always put Raph in the car so I can't run him over. I'm going to start the car up, guys. I'm in neutral. I'll turn the music down so I don't get copyrighted. Right, handbrake off. I'm in neutral. Now, normally when you're winching, you would assist the winch, okay? And you would try and drive it as well. That is normal. I'm just going to let the winch do all the work. It's up a little short hill there. I want to make sure this winch is capable of doing the job and that the rope's going to hold me. So what I do now, winch in. If you've got someone out there is winching thing. I won't go through it now, how to winch in and winch out. You can see the winch rope taking up the slack now, just nice and gentle, and I can feel it pulling the car already. So the trick now is I don't winch the whole way. Winch for 30 seconds, rest for 30 seconds or a minute, and let that battery, you don't want to drain your battery, and make sure that your vehicle is running. So I'm in neutral, guys, handbrake off. I'm not going to drive. I'm not going to assist the winch. Normally you would. I just want the winch to do the work here. It's only a short pull. Right, let's go. In we go. As I said, I checked, make sure everything's out of the way. We'll winch for 30 seconds. So we're going through some mud and that at the moment. Long grass. We're going to be going uphill soon. So that'll really test the winch out. Righto, I'm going to give it a break there for 30 seconds and then we'll come back. So don't rush it. There's no hurry when you're winching. Do it safely, do it slowly. bit of creaking and cracking, but we got up there. I did not help that at all. Normally you would help the winch and drive. I wanted the winch to do all the work then, and it did it. Those bloody dampeners get in the way, don't they? They're a pain in the arse. There you go. We loosen off our soft shackle. Take him out of the tree trunk protector. Halve him up and fold him up. I'll give you a demo on how to fold straps properly in the next clip, guys. That's the best way to do it, especially for the long ones. This one here now, I'll just put it down through the recovery point. Tighten him up a little bit now, a little bit loose. That's it, that's all I needed. Pull him out, number plate down, put my cap back on so I don't get mud in it. And we are done. And I'll tell you now, I can smell dog shit. Did anyone see Rafa crack one off while I wasn't looking? Because I can smell it. It's around here somewhere. Keep your car running now. Keep that battery. You want to get the power back into your battery because a lot of power's come out of your cranking battery, guys. It takes a lot of power out. Winching is one of the biggest consumers of your starter battery, but you need that high cranking, okay? And that's why your winch should be connected to your starter battery. Make sure you've got a really good cranking amp starter battery if you're going to run a winch. Right, let's pack up and we'll finish up. So there you go. Listen, probably not the best demonstration of how to do a winch. I know how to get myself out of trouble. And the good thing is I know that my winch works, so if I do go on a camping trip and I get bogged somewhere and there's some trees around, I know I can winch myself out of trouble. Like any equipment, guys, it can fail. Any electrical sort of equipment or mechanical equipment, it can fail. Doesn't matter what it is. Make sure you test it. I think the best thing you can do is actually use your equipment, okay? Actually use your winch. That's why I like to get out. I should do it once a month, I don't. I get slack. Lesson to this one, if you've got a winch, make sure it works, guys. Get out and test it once a month, once every 2 months. Make sure your winch is in good order, your winch rope. Make sure your ancillary equipment that you use in conjunction with it, all your straps and your shackles and all that type of stuff are in good condition so that when you need them, you know they're going to work for you. That's about all. If I've forgotten anything, put a question down in the comments. Put a comment down. You probably saw me do things wrong. The council did a good job on this this picnic table. I've heard a few cracks and groans and that, and I thought, if this thing pulls out of the ground, I'm going to delete this video so no one knows it was ever me. But it held up. They built it strong. Anyway, normally you use a tree, guys, but this is the only place I could think of to come out and do my winching clip. Hope you're well. Be good to each other. Enjoy your Easter. I'll try and get this clip up tonight, Thursday before Easter if I can. And I'll film a little bit of the nice little drive home, eh? All right, take care. We'll catch you next time, eh? And remember, anything to do with recovery, safety is number one. Any recovery whatsoever, it doesn't matter what it is, safety, number one, guys. Catch you later. Yeah, so this is Warraka Creek, or Warraka Creek, I think it's Warraka Creek. It's usually nice and clear water, but we've had that much rain and so many floods. And as I said, it used to be a popular little swimming area here, but the old crocodilies decided to get in there. Rafa said, look out for crocodiles, everyone. He said, I don't want them to eat me. Hey, mate. Keep an eye out, Raf. Yeah, so it's all brown at the moment. Normally crystal clear here. It was a good swimming area, but bloody all the floods and that we get up here, the crocs get in, the bastards. Rafa said, I don't want to go in there, everyone. He said he might get me. Quite a steep climb out of here. Gravel road, so what I'm going to do when I get around this corner is just flick him into 4 high, just to give me a bit of extra traction. 4 high on the fly. Filming while I'm driving, not a good look, is it? Saw a cassowary last time we were out here. Roz and I come out for a drive and there was a cassowary walking along the road off into the bush. Always corrugated on the corners, isn't it? These BF Goodrich mud trains, the KM2s, bloody good tyres, geez, they give you a good grip. You really feel secure. Tell you what, Rafa, we bloody stopped filming just in time, mate. It's just started to rain on our way home. Bananas out there, guys. Innisfail, big banana and sugarcane town. Hey, put it down in the comments, everyone. When I'm driving on slippery gravel roads like this, I like to put it in 4 high, 4-wheel drive, high range. Just gives you that extra grip. Front wheels are driving. Just feel a bit safer on there, and we're always taught in the army, as soon as we went onto gravel roads, we went to 4 high. That's always stuck in my mind. Just make sure when we hit the blacktop butt, we go back to 2, and I can flick back to 2-wheel drive without slowing down. In the BT, I think I can go to up to 100 kilometres an hour. I can just flick it to 4 high. But yeah, these slippery dirt roads here, especially going up to Cape York and that, I think it's a good idea just to go to 4 high. Just gives you that extra grip. Put a comment down, let me know if that's what you do.